I just wanted to be the best. Like, I genuinely enjoy looking at my stuff and knowing, like, no one can do what I do. Like, I enjoy that. Like, it might be sick. It does stem from, like, a competitive nature, but, like, I like people saying, like, oh, no, this is cool, but damn, I wish he could have made that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Look at me.
Bench Mob, they're speaking them facts that you wanna hear. They rep a jersey, the vision is clear. Diamonds glisten like a chandelier. You know what I'm here for, like Massung Lynch. At clutch time, we do not flinch. Real brothers, we do not switch. Hit home runs with the right pitch. Who run the city? What to do when they hating on you? I feel like Kobe 2010. I ain't taking an L, all I need is a win. Business is business, you know how they go. They playing the seats, now it's time to grow. Shooting now, gotta be in the know. Showtime, bitch, my about to blow.
I ain't seen from now. But you really, I was trying to tell you.
Bench Mob podcast. What's up, bro?
Yeah, welcome back. It's another episode of the Bench Mob ENT podcast. We got a full squad here tonight. Before we even get to the introduction, because obviously y'all can see that as a special guest. And for those that are actually listening on all streaming platforms, you can't see it, but we have a special guest, and I'm gonna get to that. Make sure you subscribe, like, rate us 5 stars, share it with a friend. We appreciate it. We appreciate the love. Greg, Mr. Hot Takes Debate Your Mother Sends Me. How you doing tonight?
You saving the best for last. I can appreciate that. But I'm doing good. I'm doing good. We got a great guest here, so I'm trying to get into it. Let's go.
CJ, Money Bags. How you living?
Good, man. I'm a little dumbfounded right now with everything I just heard about how these NBA players.
Relax.
You're a little crazy.
You're doing too much. Christian did too much.
So, and then our special guest of the night, Zachary, Massung, UncutxRemy. For those that do not know his actual government name, because he's doing his thing so well, everybody just like, oh, UncutxRemy.
Mm-hmm.
His actual name is Zachary, but UncutxRemy is in the building tonight. How you doing?
What's going on, guys? I'm good, man. You know, just working, chilling. Happy to be back.
We're second time on the show.
First podcast was a movie.
Exactly. So we had to get this in person. I want to start off with this, right? So last time we had you on, you told us COVID happened, right? COVID happened, and that's what inspired you to pick up the camera, you start recording, and you find a love for it to the point now where you're at. Did you see it growing this much, this fast? We talking about what, like a 2-3 year window, and you're pretty much a household name now.
Oof. I saw it going this far. I didn't see it going this far this quick, though. I would say I figured it would take maybe about 5 years for it to get here. But, yeah, I think the thing was I really planned it out. Every day I had to, I pretty much manifested. I prayed on it, and then I just was working every day and, you know, doing more than the next person. And eventually I feel like things start bubbling up, opportunities started arising. And yeah, I mean, it happened a lot quicker than I thought it would.
That is so true. I was watching one of these motivational pages, and one of the dudes was saying, like, yo, so, you know, when people be complaining about, you know, this person don't support me, that person don't support me. He's like, shut up and just work. If you work hard enough, it will breed success. And then once success is breeded, you can't ignore the success. Yes. So you literally just put the work in. I want to ask this. So you had a 5-year plan, and it turned out faster than it did, right? So you're at this point. It was last summer. You get the call, you get the text message, you get the information that, yo, I'm going to be working out with Drew Hanlon. What was going through your mind when you got that information? Like, yo, I'm going to go record Drew Hanlon's workouts with NBA players. Like, what was going through your head? Where was you at when that happened for you?
So for me, I had already somewhat built up a relationship, not with Drew, but with Sam. That's like his content creator. And just for me, like the biggest thing for me is I've always wanted to move a little bit different than everyone else. So getting that type of opportunity, I know no one out here has gotten that. Just building on those relationships and really just, trying to be different, trying to tell a different type of story. It was crazy because I don't know if you would remember, but that was a goal of mine. That was something that like I was like, yo, one day if I could film for Drew or for one of those guys, I would be, or work with Sam because that was someone I like, I really looked up to him. And just the whole unseen hours thing, like that was one of my motivations, to potentially work for that. So getting that was one of those things where like that for me was like draft night, like that was like damn, like all right, I'm at that point. So that that was a life changing like text call that I got. So
Yo, Zach, I thought about this too, bro. When the whole time you was out here recording with these guys, with Drew and everything like that, that's a crazy experience. But how did that change when you look at basketball? Because I know for me, coaching has changed the way I look at basketball holistically. Seeing some of these D1 dudes, seeing these really great players up close, coaching against them, trying to game plan. But for you, you got a whole different seat. And it's at the highest level. Seeing guys like Joel Embiid, these guys, Brad Beal, Tatum. So how did that change when you look at basketball?
It really showed me that there's like levels to this. Like there's real life levels to the sport of basketball. Like you'll have guys that, beyond talented, skilled in game, they can do this and that, but these guys are locked in on a different level. Like they have plans and regimens. It's just literally everything about it. It's at a different level. But I'll say that it also gave me almost the eye for like talent. So now when I see someone, like I'm not viewing it with the same eye before where I'm like, all right, I'm comparing it to this kid I played in high school with, or I'm comparing it to, some dude I've seen in college or whatever. Like now I'm comparing it to like, all right, I see this kid doing this and that. Like Nas, for example. I'll see Nas doing something and I'll compare that to like when I watch Tatum work out, or if I watch Zachary work out, or, anyone really. Like recently I've been, me and Dave been doing some stuff with Emmanuel Quickly, and he's
like that.
He's on that level. Like
I've been saying that about him.
So it's one of those things.
I was saying that to Miles too. The whole time he used to want to hear it because whenever I'm right, he closes his ears. Anyways, continue, please.
Quickly's like that, and the thing of it is, like you get to see Brad work out, you get to see Jason work out, and then I come back, and there's some guys that are like pros. There's some pros, like college guys, and then you see Quickly, and I'm like, he's got it. He got the same thing like those guys out there.
Do you think he could be a superstar type, like star, all-star type guy down the line? Like he's got that?
I think that if he doesn't become an all-star, he'll get really, really close. He'll be like one of those dudes that it's like, oh, I should have made it this year.
Like he didn't really type.
Yeah.
Like something like that. Okay. Yeah, solid for a long career.
Yeah.
I've always felt that way about it, bro. I've been seeing you moving around with these guys, and I know how much my perspective on basketball has changed. I know what it takes just by seeing people, right? Not by real life application, because I wasn't with no league. But like I've seen it. And so you being around that, I really think about it. I mean, outside of being a videographer, right? Long term, right? Because you've got an eye for the talent now. There's a lot of things you can do, a lot of directions you can go, a lot of amazing contacts you made. Do you think about, obviously you're a guy who thinks about the next move, right? Like is it gonna be solely videography? What else is out there for you, like in terms of what you want to do in the future?
So pretty much for me right now, I love the video stuff. It's like an obsession for me. I'm obsessed with, just building that craft up and just, that's my competitive thing now. I don't hoop anymore, so the video stuff is a competitive thing. Yeah. But it's also at a point now where, like I said, like when I was doing stuff with them, for me, that was, to some extent, my end goal. Like when I came back home, I was lost for a little bit. That was my up here. And then when I came back and I was back in reality and it was like, okay, there's not this, there's not that. I couldn't really figure out what my purpose was for a little while. It made me have to, I went back to school in the fall and then I, just was learning different things, and I've really picked up an interest in, like, I love building communities and helping players like market themselves, and obviously with the NIL stuff going on now, I feel like that's more where I'm headed. I know that my creative background obviously can, further and help push these athletes. Storytelling too, I've been pushing that out. So realistically, like, I put it on Twitter a while ago, and some people were like clowning me on Twitter for it, but I think I could get to the level of being almost a more creative Rich Paul. Maybe I might not get to Rich Paul's level, but I think that's like a goal for me.
You talked about how some of these players, like when you watch them play, you realize that there's levels to this, right?
Mm-hmm.
But for you, quite frankly, there's got to be levels to this videography stuff too, right? Because not every videographer has this clientele like you have. So in your earlier times, before you had this big clientele that you work with, how did you stay committed like through that process to get to this point?
I just wanted to be the best. Like, I genuinely enjoy looking at my stuff and knowing like no one can do what I do. Like, I enjoy that. Like, it might be sick. It does stem from like a competitive nature, but like, I like people saying like, oh no, this is cool, but damn, I wish he could have made that for me.
Mm.
Oh man, like someone comes across my thing, like I get pleasure out of people seeing like, oh man, I know he put work into that. Like, that's dope. So
I'm out here in the community, and I can tell you right now, I can confirm that people are saying that. People are like, yo, we can't do what he does. Like, I'm out here with these videographers who look up to you out there in the community, bro. Like, it's a whole community of videographers out here in Jersey, and I'm sure other states, right? Even all over the place, that really look up to Zach and the work that he does. So that's real. That competitive fire, he's separating himself.
that's another thing if I could just touch on it real quick.
Of course.
I think that's another step for me that I'm not there yet. Within the next like year to 2 years, I want to help out, like, because that's the thing. A lot of people, I'm busy a lot, so a lot of people, I feel like they don't realize, like, I want to help, I want to give back. Like, a lot of the young guys will tell you, like, oh, Zach's, like, if I ask Zach a question or I need like help on something, like, he always will, like, give back and stuff. So that's another big thing for me is like, right now I've built my stuff up to a certain extent. I'm trying to keep building it and, financially building myself up. But for me, there's going to be someone that's better at me than this. So if I can help them get to that point, it's kind of like for me, that's an even bigger thing,
Mm-hmm.
So
100%.
Sidebar. You good. I just moved it around so your face can get into the camera.
Oh,
when
okay.
you're speaking. So you don't have to, you could turn that way if you
All
want.
right,
So
cool.
that's really why I did that.
Bet.
That taking care of some stuff at home for the people that's listening. So I'm trying to get the best product out there to you. So you mentioned the financial aspect, right? So sure, people would want to know and would be want to probably definitely, made an assumption. Oh, he's with Zach Levine, with Bradley Beal, Joel Embiid. He probably getting banked. If you don't mind sharing that time you spent over there, was it a lucrative option that came about, or was it more of the experience to be like, hey, I worked with NBA stars, now I get to come back and take this same talent and then go apply it to other places?
it was a little bit of both. Obviously when I was out there, they took care of me. They made sure I was good, anything I needed. If there was any money I needed, like, Drew and Sam, they handled that. They made sure I was good. But it was ultimately more for exposure. Like I said, the money was good, but even with that, like I've been saying lately, that's one of my mottos, like that there's just levels to this stuff. Like lately, I've just been realizing like there's so much money to be made doing this. It doesn't necessarily have to be with an NBA client. It could be with your boy down the street that owns a gym, but yeah, I mean, they took care of me 100%. I'll be back there this summer too. And I love working with them.
What was we kind of had some discussions before the show. What was the most fun part that you took from being around these NBA players, and what was something that might have shocked you that you could actually share?
That laugh is a real indicator of what what might be to come.
So out there, just the energy in the gym. Like, it was something I hadn't encountered before. It was very intense. It was high level. The level of focus, detail, just, it was one of those things, like, especially like when Drew's like teaching and he's doing like his development and stuff with these guys. It's like, I'm filming, but you're almost watching him because he's picking up on every little detail. And just being out there seeing that, it's almost like, yeah, okay, like, this isn't like going to the JCC back in the day and you got someone just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna just put up like some shots and, you know, like whatever, going to the park, whatever. This is like, no, move your thumb 2 centimeters this way. Do like little details, like stuff like that where it's like, okay.
Yeah.
Shocking stuff. I would say honestly, I was shocked at how many people outside of like the initial basketball world was out there, like CEOs that I met, like billionaires that I'm out there and it's just like, oh yeah, he's in the gym. Oh yeah, this guy is the CEO of, he's the founder of Essential Water or this and that. And it's just like, oh, okay, well, that's kind of random, but it's all right, nice. So I feel like those type of things were a thing that it opened my mind a little bit to say like, okay, this basketball stuff, NBA clients are cool, but like this guy right here, he might not be known by face, but this dude's a billionaire. Like he's doing like big things too. So that was a nice like reality shot for me going out there too.
In those moments, do you kind of not necessarily shoot your shot, but kind of make yourself known to these people because you're getting exposure to some big time people?
For me, I'll say the one thing with me being out there that a lot of these people enjoyed, and I think that's another reason why they want to have me back this year, is I just work, man. Like I just go in there and I'm very, like I'll talk like, cool, whatever, but I'm getting my job done. I'm not sitting there like, oh my gosh, I'm a fan. I love you. Like you're a human, I'm a human. So it's one of those things like I know I can provide you value. You obviously can provide me some value and some money or whatever. And it's one of those things. If you like my work, I know you'll contact me or you'll contact Drew or whoever. And I feel like that's just how I've moved. It's one of those things like I feel like I'm pretty approachable, shooting my shot, I haven't really ever done that actually. Yeah. It's just one of those things like I'm just being myself,
Just the work. In your space, right? So I know a big thing is, and we talked about it actually before you came on the show. For you, a lot of the times, one of the biggest ways that you guys get exposure and gain exposure is when you do, even your sounds go viral. If you do a video and they don't tag the videographer, they don't tag the photographer. For you, right? How do you try to make sure you kind of like have your stuff maybe trademark or own so when it gets out, people know it's you? And on the flip side also, how does it make you feel seeing some of these bigger brands, like we're not going to say the name, and it's funny, oh snap, it's really funny sidebar. You work with the people.
Hey, yo.
Use your stuff and don't give you the credit for it. How does that make you feel?
Now, hold on now. I said we don't do that. We definitely
Chris, y'all do that. It's okay.
Not you personally.
Not you, but you did do that.
That's a lot. For me, I feel like I've gotten to a certain point now where if something even somewhat looks like, because my video's got a certain style to it, my colors, I've developed them a certain way now. People, like when they see my stuff, or they see something that looks like mine, I'll have at least 1 or 2 people like mention me or tag me in it. And just be like, oh, this is you. Like one of my boys, he lives in South Jersey. Like a couple times he saw like a video that he thought was mine and he tagged me in it. And I had to text him like, that wasn't me, but like, I appreciate you, bro. Like whatever. But yeah, like, I mean, you probably saw the post the other day, right? Mm-hmm. So I did this sound and it went crazy, obviously. And this big company, they posted him, whatever. And the crazy thing is, that same kid, he's the one that tagged me. He's like, oh, this is your sound, whatever. I'm like, cool. he so I just went on their page and I just was like, I just liked the message. I was like, yeah, if you could please tag me, that'd be cool. And I messaged him and I was just like, hey man, like this is me. Like if you could tag me, like that would be love. And I just left it like that. I used to get really upset, but I've grown now where it's like, listen, if there's 30 people in your comments telling you to tag me, you don't tag me, they're just gonna look at you like, oh yeah, you guys are one of those, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like, I posted it and I just said tag ? Is what it is. Someone that actually works for Overtime, they hit me up and they were like, oh, we're gonna make sure Boss Man, like, I don't even care.
Nah, he's saving because he works for Overtime.
I love Overtime.
My people talk to you. That's all I can say right now.
I still love that.
That's all I can say right now.
I still love it. But pretty much,
I'm gonna get you plugged up.
pretty much. If it makes you feel better, it wasn't the name. It wasn't their name. So, but it was their OTE page. But dude that runs the OTE, he's one of their like video people. He hit me up and he was like, "Oh man, I'm gonna talk to my boss. Make sure you get tagged." I was like, "All right, appreciate you, bro." Like, you know. Mm-hmm. I took it down. I wasn't really tripping over it like that. It's just one of those things where it's like, I took time to like make that. Like that's my voice. And the thing of it is just like, that was my original sound. So that means you had to because that's the thing. It's not like
I'm gonna break it down because I've seen it. Because somebody actually used a sound from one of our interviews with Brevin Knight and was using it on there.
I believe it.
You talking about sound like when these music producers like Nick Pat maybe slap like that type of sound? Like what are you talking about when you say sound?
I'm gonna break it down for you. So he did a video, right?
Someone was jacking our stuff.
That's tough. Someone was jacking the Brevin Knight interview? That's tough.
I'll go to that next, right? So on one of the videos that he was doing, he was talking about the athlete, right? So when he was talking about the athlete, he was talking about, you got to put work in, you got to do this. They took the sound from that. So what you have to do in that process, you're downloading the video, then you're going to whatever you use, Premiere, iMovie, Video Leap. You detach the audio, get rid of the video, save the audio, and then whatever video you're using, you then put that audio behind it. So that's what they did. They took the audio of Zach speaking about somebody else on his video and then applied it to their video, which is no problem because in the Instagram, TikTok world, people use sound. Right. The thing is, typically you tag the person that the sound is from.
I mean, yeah, you see that all the time on TikTok when people are using these same inspirational, motivational quotes, right? And they put the music behind it and they just put in their own video with it, right? These workout videos and things like that. But honestly, for you, man, that's the biggest compliment you can get. Right, people using your stuff based on what you did because you're doing such great work. So, yeah,
I think the only thing that bothered me with it because I've always been cool with that. Like even like there's a couple like clothing brands that like their athletes, like I've made videos for them and they're wearing it, and it's like they'll save my videos and post it without even like, hey, can I use this? I have no problem with it. It's like I already did the work. Like I already got paid for it too. Like. Okay, go crazy. Yeah. I think the thing with that was like, if that sound was already starting to like trend upwards and it was people making videos with that sound and then you snatched it, like it's one thing if you used my sound like from my account, like for you to download it off my account and make it your own original sound and now you have hundreds of accounts making it to that sound, it's like you just took something of mine that was going viral. That's the only thing that bothered me. But it's like at the same time, it's Instagram.
If you weren't off in a good position, if you was just starting off, that would actually probably hit you different.
Yeah.
If you were just starting off and like, damn, it's going crazy, it could have went crazy off of my page and I actually get what's coming from it. The Brevin Knight thing, right? So I posted a reel. Somebody downloaded the reel, took the sound of what Brevin Knight was saying. The clip where Brevin Knight was like, yo, in the summertime, when we get back in the summer, that's when I bust people. Like, I get busy. They took that clip and put it behind them working out.
Who took that clip?
I don't know who the person was. I just happened to see it.
That's so hard, though.
I just happened to see it, right?
That's hard.
It's tough to an extent. It is. Yeah, it's pretty tough. It is pretty tough.
But then, there's also that little thing.
It's the first time, though.
Yo, if they tag me,
they tag me out too.
That's cool. I found that the only good thing that came from it, the person followed the page, because I saw it and I'm like, nah, brother named my cousin. I know that voice really well. I said, nah, I'm gonna bust it. I said, nah, that sounds too familiar. I went back to our video. I'm like, that's exactly. Person that we followed back. I don't even remember the person's name. Like, it was literally somebody in like the middle of Minnesota. Like I don't know how they got the sound. I don't know why they got the sound.
That's dope though.
Why it hit. But I was like,
yeah. I don't see that.
I should have had Fine happen to stumble upon it on the Explore page. Like,
yeah. That's dope.
Yeah.
Hey, I know we give a lot to cover in this episode. I want to ask, I've been dying to ask Zach this question. You were doing some pre-draft work. You and D Lamb. How's that been, that experience, seeing these guys get in the gym? Obviously, it can't be much different than being with Drew. Actually, it's different because these guys are playing it's a job interview. It's a lot different. These guys are getting ready for the biggest job interview of their lives. What has that been like, being around the Ron Harpers of the world, the kid in Nebraska? I'm forgetting his name. There's a lot of really great players in this class. The good guys, the good players in this class. You're about to run the lottery guys. What's that been like for you?
Hey, pause real quick. Shout out to D-Lamb, yo.
Shout out to D-Lamb. We gotta get D-Lamb back on the show, too.
Yeah, we gotta get him
Shout
first. Shout out to D-Lamb. Yo, you doing your thing. So
You're going up, too.
Yeah.
Facts.
So, I've been there maybe like, not every day, but I was there maybe like 6 or 7 times.
Right.
These, like you said, it's a job interview. Like, these guys, it's a different type of grind because they're waking up. Some of them, they're getting to the gym at 7, 8 o'clock. They got their workouts there. Then it's meal prepping, taking care of their body, interviews, doing a whole bunch of different stuff. And they're working out again. And they're traveling. They just came out from the combine. It's been dope just to see. Like I said, I haven't been there for the whole process. I was still in school, so I got to miss the afternoons. But yeah, they're locked in. Obviously, a very talented group. Some of those guys, I think all of them will be on a team. I know they'll all be on a summer league team. I hope they all could get drafted. Like I said, talented group. I don't know. That was my first pre-draft. It was cool. I wish I could have done a little bit more, but I enjoyed it.
It only get more exciting from here. But just seeing, look, I saw that and I was like, that's so dope. Like, you're even in that Lifetime gym that my man Brickley does his workout of the ops runs. And so I'm like, even being in that environment, it's nothing new for you. Like, right, you're not starstruck by it, but I can be. I don't know. So I thought it was dope. That was a nice,
That's something I'll say is weird. If there's a gym I've seen online, maybe I was 14, 15 or even a couple years ago, you see those gyms online and then you're actually in the gym. It's like, damn, all right, well, this is what the gym looks like in person. So,
right.
That was my first time in Lifetime at Sky, and nice, I loved it. It was cool.
So last one before we transition into the nitty gritty of everything that we want to talk about with, finals coming up, Steph legacy, all that good stuff, right? Mm-hmm. At this point in your life, what is it like to be UncutxRemy? You've worked with the NBA stars, you worked with prospective NBA stars coming into the draft. You've set goals, you've knocked them out of the park, you're making money. You even went to school, got the degree, even though me and Greg and our circles, we talk bruh, is that really, from the outside looking in, I didn't even really have to go to school. He was out here doing the darn thing. You get the degree, you get the paper. What is it like being you? Is there ever a point where you kind of, I don't know, you got to either remind yourself all right, come back to earth? Is there a time where sometimes you got to remind yourself I'm UncutxRemy, I'm Zach, I'm really like that. What is it like to be you? And at this point in your life, from where you started at to where it's at, you said a 5-year window, and we had a 3-year mark, and
yeah. It might sound kind of depressing, but there's a lot of alone time. There's a lot of like in your head, like I gotta keep the needle, like I gotta keep this like pushing. It's not all like, I mean, you know, but it is what it is. Instagram is Instagram. Like it's not like what you see for me is what you get, but I don't post every, you know what I'm saying? It's been a blessing to have a good circle and to have people that, you know, they keep me in my place. They keep me very up, because at times like you get burned out doing this. You get that feeling of like, dang, like I've really helped this person out, that person out, and they couldn't like look out for me, or they couldn't. There are those things that a lot of people don't like to talk about, and me, I've always been open to talk about. I've talked about it on Instagram. I've talked about it on TikTok. Like it's not easy, especially when you do have that. You have people asking you for help. You have younger kids asking you, oh, how can I get this and that? Like you got clients hitting you up like, oh, this and this and that. You got players or anyone like, oh, this could be some good exposure. It's just like you need to find a balance. And it's also like, man, like I just graduated. I'm trying to figure out stuff. I have a girlfriend. Like people don't realize like I have a life. So at times it does get difficult, but I do remind myself like this is my purpose. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. So I got to do it, you know? Like I said, like I'm blessed to have, you know, my family, even my brother. Like my brother, it's insane. Like I feel bad at times because I'm so busy that like I have so much film on him that like if people actually got to see how good he is, they would be like, why doesn't this kid have an offer from like Louisville or like big schools like that? And it's just like he's never been about it like, oh man, like why are you focused on, like he's always like, nah, man, you gotta do what you gotta do. Like whenever you got time, like we can work on that stuff. So it's like that's just been a blessing. I got my girlfriend that, you know, like she has just been very like, dude, you gotta realize like you're doing this. Like you can go out like she does video too. So she's like so hard. There's times that's crazy, right?
So hard.
Yeah. She's dope.
She does like sports videography too?
She does more like she does everything. Like literally. She's a better editor than I am. And she doesn't even post on Instagram. Like
no, we gonna have to talk about that soon.
Nah, she's good.
I got some stuff that I need, and I hit Zach up, and Zach was like, I'll do it, but I'm not in that space. So he was like, which I can respect too. He's like,
yeah,
he's not just gonna take the money. I'm like, yo, I need this type of video. Like, could you do something like that, like for a wedding or whatever? Because I have people that are like, yo, do you know videographer on set? I'm at work like, yo, UncutxRemy. If he do your wedding, good lord, that's gonna come out crazy. Exactly.
I'll say now because I did something outside recently. I did a art show for my boy Kyle, and that was like I don't typically shoot outside. I could probably do like if they still need it. I know I could do it now. I just wasn't confident in it at the time.
Because I hit him immediately. I said, yo, give me 2 seconds. Yeah. I'm gonna DM him right now, and they was really ready to pay some bread. Exactly. Like, I ain't gonna do that because I'm not confident in that space, and I respect that because we all know people that it's about the bread.
Quick buck.
No darn well they can't do it. Oh yeah, put that sheetrock up for you. House cold as heck one time.
Is it refreshing for you to branch out and try new types of videography?
That's how I've gotten better.
Yeah.
Like if I would have just stayed doing hoops, I wouldn't have. The crazy thing is the things that I look up to get where I'm at, documentary films and music videos, straight up. Like there's obviously certain basketball there's some content that I watch, but it's pretty much recycled. It's the same thing. You'll have a couple people that'll spin it different, but you gotta like be doing different things. I like watching people do like brand work, and to me, like when I started doing more of that and focusing on it and watching that, that's when I feel like I got better all around because I wasn't looking at it from like, all right, I'm gonna just chop up some highlights. You know, I looked at it a little bit different. So
you can tell that in your work because of you watching, and my wife will attest to this. As much as we were talking about power, how much we love power, more times than not, I'm watching documentaries. And you can tell in your style of work why it's so seamlessly you've been able to do storytelling with a smooth transition. Its documentaries are basically storytelling in different ways. All right, we're going to talk about Katrina. You're telling the story about Katrina and getting different perspectives on it. You do the same in your storytelling, and I think too, because I've heard it from some people that question it, or some people that might have critiques on your storytelling. The thing is, where I think it's validated also your storytelling and how you view things and how you already touched on it, how you see players. You've been around the greatest. So when you say, yo, this player right here, he's in the class of 2025, he really should be getting looks from D1 school. I think that is, people should understand that should be a validated opinion coming from you because you've been around the greats. You feel me? Like, I can't be like, yo, we can have our opinion, but it's a different opinion. I can be like, yo, Chris Brown's the greatest singer of all time. That's cool. That's your opinion. You're not in that space. You've been around the greats. So when you saying, yo, this person in 2025, watch out for them.
Yeah.
They're going to be elite.
Yeah.
So,
wait.
Exactly. So I think that other aspect, I could see it in your work, and you probably, I don't know if you hear it or not, but it's just like, people got to understand you put the work in. So when you had those discussions and those storytelling videos, you know what you're talking about.
And they don't know, bro. I hooped. Like, you know, right?
I'm very much sure. I've been on the other end of Zach's work almost.
So,
a couple times.
So I'm saying, like, it's not like I'm just some, and that's another problem I've had. Like, there's people that they're doing what I'm doing, and the first couple times it bothered me. But now I'm like, all right, I mean, I've never been opposed to you helping a kid out, but don't do it like me. Like, I know, one, if we get on the court, it's over for you. You can't guard me. That's the first thing. You can't guard me. If we watch a game, I'm breaking it down way better than you ever would. You're going to sit there just watching the ball. Like, I'm watching the game, bro. You watching the ball. Like,
you've seen the back screen, you've seen the Iverson cut, you've seen it.
Exactly.
That's what you say. It's levels.
It's levels too.
It's levels.
Let me. I was gonna say this because he brought his brother, and I've always likened myself to Zach in this way because I got into coaching because of Ruben. That's the only reason why I did that. And then it's growing into me doing it as a hobby, whatever. You got into videography to record your brother. That was really where it started. That's the grassroots of this, right?
Yeah.
I know you got more coming with him soon, right? I want you to. I want to give him a chance. I want you to plug him right now in his game, like where he's grown, right? I've seen the clips. I was locked in Hudson Catholic throughout the year. There's a lot of talk about Tahad and all that stuff too. But I want to talk about him, right?
Yeah.
Like, what do you see for him, and what do you think his future is? You talk about D1 schools offering him. Do you see that in the future for him?
The crazy thing with it is, I think what ultimately hurt Alex would be looked at a lot different if he wasn't injured his freshman year. He missed his whole freshman year because he tore his meniscus. So he missed that. It was kind of one of those things where he was going to play varsity. He was going to get maybe not as much burn. I mean, Todd's, in my opinion, top 10 player in his class. Tahad is like that. Special for sure. But Alex is right there. Like, Alex isn't, no
scrub.
At this point, too, it's like he's not small. Alex is 6'4". Woo. Alex is 190 pounds. Alex has a 36-inch vert. Like,
speak on it.
Alex is the goods. And it's like a lot of people have, you see Instagram, you see people posting, oh, I'm in the gym every day. He don't do that. He just works. He just does his thing. He might not get all the calls. He might not get all this. He might not get all the gear from people. But just know, if you have to guard him, you're not going to guard him, but he's going to lock you up because he's also a top 3 defender in the state. And I firmly and confidently say that.
I need to
go on. Definitely. What I see sometimes too from some of the games and stuff, because I don't want to put personal business out there, but you posted one of the, and you didn't even put it like this, but I peeped it. You posted he guarded one of the top guards in the state. And you just put it like that.
Held him to 6.
Held him to 6.
I need to know what guard. We gotta get messy. We gotta get messy on the podcast. What guard would you?
No, I can't do that to myself. but he did hold him to 6.
I know this person. I know this person.
Yes, you definitely do.
Yeah.
Off camera.
Six.
You know this person.
6
points, right? And I was seeing some of the other accounts. Some of the other pages was posting the good parts of his game.
Oh my God, I know who this is now.
So I'm looking and I'm seeing both sides of the film now. Because you know how IG is. You're going to show that they dropped their buckets, but you're not going to show that they shot 10 for 50. Like, you know how it is. So I'm looking at both sides of the film and I'm like, okay. He out here really like that. And it gives me, and I'm sure if we saw him in the summertime, right, we would be able to see his full offensive game. But watching him, you know what he kind of reminds me of? He kind of reminds me of what Gary Payton the third is for Golden State. I'm going to go lock up the other best guard. In G League, people don't know about GP. In G League, Gary Payton was averaging like 28.
Yep.
8 and 8. And I think it's the same thing with Alex. If he was in a situation where it wasn't hot on the team, he would be the main scorer. But he's doing his job of, I'm going to go play lockup.
Yeah.
But he very is capable of going to get buckets.
Dude, I'm telling you, like right now he's playing, he plays with City Rock, so that's an EYBL team. Last weekend, I think he said championship. He didn't get championship MVP. Like he didn't get the MVP of the championship game. But on the weekend, he averaged 19. Oh God! And it wasn't just 19. He averaged close to a triple double. 19.
And that level of competition, that 19 hits different. You're not talking about some random weekend AAU tournament over here in the middle of New Jersey where you're playing kids that don't even play for their high school team.
It's the best of the best.
We're talking as 19 there is a different 19.
Yep.
And we mentioned Gary Payton, and of course I think that's kind of like a perfect transition. We got Golden State in the finals. Gary Payton's supposed to come back in the series. He's supposed to be back. How do you see this series going? Like we was talking about before you got here. How do you see this series going? Like who you got winning the championship?
Well, on FanDuel, I got the Celtics, but in real life,
real power.
That's how I feel about this the whole time.
I was saying, I mean, I see it being competitive, and I think that there's going to be close games. I think that this is going to be the best series of the playoffs.
Thank God.
Hopefully.
I hope so. Yeah. This playoffs has been very very end.
Yeah. Ain't it sad that you have to say that though? I think this is going to be the best series of the playoffs, like it should. You know what I mean?
Usually, the finals is the apex. So usually, it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Sometimes it isn't. We've seen some duds.
Yeah.
But I would agree with you. I think this series is a toss-up. And I've been going back and forth, deliberating this entire week about who's going to win and who. Just thinking about it, I knew I'd have to answer this question tonight, and I don't have an answer. I was going to pick the Warriors because the Warriors have been there. They have championship pedigree. Draymond, Clay, Steph. These guys have been there. Even Looney has played in huge games. I shouldn't say even. Looney has been there and played in huge games, and all those guys have that pedigree. You know what they're doing, and they're not going to be scared of the moment. But defense travels, and the Celtics train his defense. I feel like the Celtics really make this interesting. I think it's going to be a 7-game series. That's my prediction. My prediction is a 7-game series. And I know that's not bold, but I think it's going to be a 7-game series. I think that there is a really good chance that Jason Tatum is the best player in the series. That's just how I feel about it, bro. I feel like Jason Tatum will be the best player in the series. Like, he's going to play the best player in the series, and we're going to be having a real conversation about him for Finals MVP, obviously. And that's not a big, wow, hot take. It's not a hot take at all. But the hot take may be me saying that I've seen Steph in the finals before, and if Steph is who he's been in the finals, just historically, they're not winning this series with Steph being the guy I've seen him be in previous series. I'm gonna keep it a buck. That's just me.
I'm gonna keep it a buck. I got Boston winning it just off the strength of their defense. Golden State hasn't seen that up to this point on their journey up here. Like, all right, cool. Dallas is a better defensive team, but Dallas is in Boston. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think Marcus Smart and their length in general is going to give them some fits, especially Steph. And if we keep it really a stack, the Warriors' trip to get into here, right? Each round, they just typically were better than the other two.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They had that championship pedigree, but they haven't been, as we mentioned, the playoffs in general haven't been. They haven't had one of those series in its entirety where we're like, no, this is championship basketball. It's just like, nah, we've been here. We know better. We got Draymond. We got championship pedigree. We got Draymond. We got Clay. Clay will come big up. Game 6, Clay. The 5 game before that, we was talking about should Clay come off the bench, dude. Maybe they brought back Clay too early. Like, they haven't really put it all together. And the scary part, though, that you always can say about Golden State, this might be the series where they put it all together. But based on what we've seen, I gotta go Boston. Just on that, that defense is different. And if Tatum and Brown, which everybody wanted to split up outside of a few people.
I was trying to put on 2. I was one of those dudes. I'm not gonna run from that.
That's crazy though. I find that so crazy. I feel like they really they could work together for real.
Yeah. I think it was more for me, it was like I thought they needed a star point guard to kind of facilitate because Jason Tatum wasn't that guy. For most of his career, Jason Tatum was a guy to come on the court and he's taking the first good look. And he was taking the first shot he saw. And you weren't getting any good offense, right? And I thought, and that's there's truth to that. I think if people watch ball, they know that. It's not exact, right? You would agree. Mm-hmm. But then Jason Tatum changed his game up this year, and Joe got through him, and he's getting into action. He's making the right pass, making the right reads, and then also still being a killer. So it's completely different said. I don't believe it. It's okay.
If the Warriors don't win, right? And of course you get answer this too. The Warriors don't win. Where does this put Steph's legacy?
I need to speak on this too.
I know you want.
I need to speak on this.
I'm trying to get a floor to other people first before you start.
You know, I don't think it's going to do much to his legacy. I think it's just going to boost Tatum's. Because I really think that Tatum is going to be the next, that guy. I know everyone's saying, Luka and this and that, but Tatum's got that killer in him. Some people say, he's young. What, 24?
Yeah.
Some people say, he does dumb things. He'll do, between the legs a couple times and side steps with 2 seconds left on the clock and shoot it. But, if we're being honest, back in the day, Kobe was doing that. And it's kind of
he's of the Kobe school.
He's of that,
yeah,
and if he's doing that at 24, and if he's doing that leading his team to the finals, I don't think it's gonna hurt Steph because Tatum's gonna end up being
you look back on it all right, you lost to Tatum, so it's cool.
Exactly.
Steph's considered the golden child of the league, right? If he doesn't play up to par, they're going to make excuses for him talking about Clay's injury. Clay wasn't 100%. And you feeling that?
Yeah, he's
I heard that deep side.
I was just saying praise.
That's what it's going to come down to. It's going to be, wow, the Celtics weren't supposed to be here this year, and look at what they've done, and look at how Tatum has risen to the occasion. But for Steph, it's going to be all right, Steph's still the best shooter in the league, the best shooter we've ever seen. And that's what people are going to talk about. They're going to give him a pass based on how good he can shoot and him still having 0 finals MVPs. And ultimately, he already has 3 rings. He's going for his 4th right now. So they'll look at it in that sense in terms of, all right, this guy already has 3 rings. Tatum just got his 1st, and they'll give him ultimately the passes. Hopefully next year with a healthy team, Steph's had some injuries these past 3 years, right? They'll peg them to be back. But, I don't think it's going to really affect his legacy. I'm still picking the Warriors in 6, though.
Before we touch on the Steph point, I gotta get there. The Jason Tatum point he made was really good, Zach. Because I was thinking about this, and I've been seeing this on Twitter and all that stuff. Is this the hardest road to a finals that any star player's ever had? They said Dirk in 11 was, and I think that I validate that. Yes, but now what did he go through? He went through KD and Kyrie, no Ben, whatever that's worth. he went through Giannis. No Middleton, whatever that's worth.
But hey.
I'm just qualifying. I'm just giving y'all facts.
Yeah,
you said what you want to say.
That's true.
I'm just telling y'all what it was, okay? And then don't shoot the messenger. The conference finals. Who do you play again? Conference finals. Why am I blanking?
Jimmy Butler,
and Kyle Lowry. Addition by subtraction. And then we're here. So I think it's an incredibly hard road to the finals. I know I've said a lot. I'm joking. Love the Kyle Lowry. I'm not joking about Kyle Lowry. That was bad. But we're here. So, and he has to play this Warriors team. This is the best team he's going to have to play in the entire playoffs. It should be the best series. Is this the hardest road to a championship that any other stars had. If you ask me personally, I'm gonna go with Dirk in 11.
Yeah, you got
that. I'm going Dirk in 11, 2011. But I don't know. Maybe am I bugging for saying that?
I like Dirk in 11, but I'll say like Tatum's 24.
That's the other thing. Yeah.
Jaylen Brown is what, 25?
Yeah, that's nice.
The Celtics weren't.
Yeah,
They started off really slow.
You gotta look at Dirk. How old was Dirk in 11?
Dirk was seasoned. Dirk was seasoned.
Little Laurie season.
Yeah.
Dirk was seasoned. Dirk in 11, and you got the fact that obviously the finals you like guy Bron. I think
Probably like 36, man.
at that, yeah, he was older. I mean, Jason Terry, I think he was older. He had KD. I think they went through KD and Russ, I believe.
Yeah.
In 11, yeah. I know they took the Spurs or the Grizzlies.
So
that year.
Dallas had to start.
It was with Grizzlies. I think it was
the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies made
But that Grizzlies team was scary.
Tony Allen, Mike Conley,
Marcus
Zebo.
They had to go through Portland. They had to go through OKC.
Mm-hmm.
They had to obviously beat Miami.
Mm-hmm. Portland, OKC, missing one team then. Unless it was just 2 rounds. I didn't have no. That's why I forgot it because it kind of hurt my heart. They had to beat the Lakers. Woo! No,
in the first round.
It's stamped. It's stamped.
That's a tough.
That's
one.
That's demon time Kobe. That's demon time Kobe. That's 11 was demon time Kobe. Kobe was in his at the height of his power.
Big bag.
Yeah.
So
Swept them too. 4-0.
Woo! Yeah. All right. So look,
That's crazy.
That's why Dirk 11 for me was where I held him.
But here's the thing, though. Jason Tatum swept the Nets.
That's what he did.
He swept KD and Kyrie in 4, bro. Took them out.
Yeah, that's what's up.
And the crazy thing about it was, people didn't even think that they were going to beat the Nets.
I didn't even beat the Nets.
Touch on that too. Dirk was 33 at that point.
33.
Yeah. So they age things.
Oh snap! That had to happen for him. That's an important number. Jesus died at 33.
Symbolic.
Yeah, symbolic for him. He had to do that there. Before you get on your point with Steph, you just made me think about this too. We mentioned them going through Miami. Jimmy Butler, this whole playoffs, he is literally Jimmy Butler is when you look at Jimmy Butler, everybody like regular season, you watch Jimmy Butler and you might think he's just a top 20 player. He's he's average. Playoff time come, Jimmy Butler lives for the playoffs. If Jimmy Butler could be on 2K and skip the 82 and just start playing in the playoffs, Jimmy Butler would do that. He's one of the few players that actually elevates their game when the playoffs come, unlike a Harden, where regular season, oh my gosh, James Harden's a Hall of Fame top-notch player. Playoffs, I feel like I seen some college kids put up better numbers. Completely different, opposite. Y'all answer this one for me. Is Jimmy, with no ring, Jimmy Butler Hall of Fame?
100%.
Yeah, I would say so too. The rest of the All-Star games, the resume. I mean, it's like.
Does he need a ring to solidify it?
I don't think he needs a ring, but I know that this is going to be one of those things like, we're going to have kids one day and they're going to be like, man, Jimmy Butler's trash.
Yeah.
Jimmy Butler's trash.
You have to pull up the playoff.
It's one of those
things.
And it's like, it's not going to be like you show highlight tapes because, you know, Jimmy, he just bulls his way through. It's going to be like, nah, you got to sit and watch the game.
Yeah.
Jimmy literally just gets buckets. That's it.
Yeah.
Jimmy buckets. Like, it's nothing. There's nothing like fancy to it. There's nothing per se even pretty, bro. It's just like, I'm going to get it done. He's one of those players. Let me put y'all on my back. Come on, y'all. Come on. I carry y'all. 47. 36. I carry y'all. Closest person next to me had 15. All right, cool. I carry y'all. That's Jimmy, bro.
Y'all was okay with that last shot he took in the situation?
Heck no. I wasn't okay with it. You should have just got the 2.
Really?
You should have got. I get why he did it, but you got Horford backpedaling.
On his toes. He settled with
Jimmy's getting that call. In Miami, Jimmy's getting that call. Go to the lane. At worst, you're getting free throws.
Yeah.
Horford's backpedaling. He can't jump with you. I'd rather that than the 3. And it was a deeper 3.
Not to mention, that's not his game either. He was shooting 18% in that series.
Oh, no. Yeah.
23% on the year.
I'll tell you why I was okay with it. He played every minute of that game with an inflamed knee, and he wanted to get that. You have to, at some point, you have to go for the
He
win.
wanted to get out.
At OT, if you go to OT, you're not winning that game anyways. You're dead. Kawhi was giving you nothing. Tyler Hero didn't even play for some odd reason. That was the injury, probably the injury. Strus was your next best offensive option in that game. It almost felt like at times.
Hey,
Like,
I get going.
Bam played great. Shoot, yes.
I don't know, man. I mean, I didn't watch the whole game, but
Bam played great.
I don't even
you talking about the entirety of the playoffs, though. Bam.
No, in that game specifically, though.
But that
I
game
can't
specifically,
trust
but
that,
that's what I'm saying. The whole, especially going into it, this man was complaining, I'm defensive player of the year, talking about big cash crazy, and did not show up in the playoffs. If Bam shows up, that's not even going to 7.
No.
That game where Jimmy had to leave at halftime, and then who the heck is this on the court? Oh my God. Ooh. Post movement. Left shoulder, right shoulder, hook shot, fade away, up and under. Who is it? They got a new player? No, that's Bam. Oh, where he been at?
Mm-hmm.
Bam was out here giving Draymond Green stats, single, triple doubles.
Yeah.
We don't need that from Bam. No, this team, especially when you got a situation where, all right, Hero's injured. You gonna have to step up, Bam. We don't need 9, 8, and 8. That's great. Game 54 in the season. That's great then. It's playoff time. And especially, you got Jimmy, bro. How many more times Miami's gonna be able to get back to this place? Especially at Jimmy. Bam, 24, 25. For Jimmy, for UD. I mean, UD it looked like he was acting like he actually played. Jim was walking through the locker room, man. Oh, man.
Crazy.
That was fun.
I had a chance to get another ring.
Sit down somewhere.
No, you know what's happening. They probably told listen, last year you want to have a jersey on. You got to put that jumpsuit on. You got to put that suit on. And sit with the rest of the coaching staff. You're not going to keep showing up here coaching in shorts. You're going to have to switch that up. That's why he was upset. But talk to me about your perspective on Steph's legacy, obviously going down the sewer if they lose.
I didn't say that. That's never what I said in the all-time conversation.
Wait, repeat that for me? Repeat that
Does this ring put him over Magic in the all-time conversation? That's all I want to talk about.
Magic got 5, don't he?
Don't do that simpleton stuff with me. It's not about the number of rings. It's not about the number of rings.
Magic got 3 Finals MVPs.
Yes. By the way,
Ooh, that's a good point.
No, hold on.
That is a good point.
I'll qualify by saying this before we start. I don't think it does. I think Magic is still the better all-time player, even if Steph wins this one. I will say that right now. But I just want to hear what people think. And I want to hear what you guys thought. And it was great when you said Zach was going to be on because I thought this is another hit to bounce it off, right? You know?
How do we see and it's too funny that you brought this up too, because I'm going to pose this to our followers because I want to have this debate and this conversation. For each position, I'm going to send it to our followers, whoever wants to do it. Give me, and to even have more heads on it, and we talk about our show in the debate. Give me your top 10 over the last 25 years in each position. Point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, center. What's your top 10 over the last 25 years? But that's a whole other discussion. In regards to this, though, we're obviously viewing Magic and Steph at the point guard position. What is your top 5 point guard list looking like?
A lot of questions in the last few minutes.
What is your top 5 point guard list looking like? Because that's what we're really breaking it down to. Because you talking about Steph Magic, that's point guard. This is point guard discussion, point guard talk. Because you're saying, is this win? And you already said that you still have Magic above him. Where would he even be in this conversation, period? Win or loss, where is he at in this list of point guards?
Well, I feel like Magic's top 3 all time. So immediately he's already like probably the GOAT point guard. Steph, for me, I don't know. It's weird because I don't necessarily categorize it like that. If we do categorize it like point guard, shooting guard like that, Steph I'll probably have second. After that though, I don't know. I feel like there's a drop off for real. I'm not a big Chris Paul fan.
Neither am I.
I don't see it. I don't see it with Chris Paul. After that, I'd really have to think.
Isaiah Thomas, Detroit. Isaiah Thomas.
I say Isaiah Thomas. I throw in that mix,
I probably have it at the bottom, maybe at like 4 or 5.
and I definitely got to throw. Even though a lot of people don't respect him, I got to throw John Stockton in that mix.
Yeah.
The closest person to him in second place in assists is still like 1,200 assists behind. That's probably one of the records that's probably never going to be touched, especially now in this era where the point guards typically are scoring point guard. The next closest person is 1,200 assists behind this man. And in the steal category, the next closest person is 600 steals behind.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Good Lord.
Wow, 600.
Yeah.
John Stockton is definitely a top 5 point guard all time.
He's definitely top.
Definitely. You've only got four point guards you've named, I think, on that list. And Allen Iverson, people always will tell me, "Oh, he's not a point guard. He's a 2."
I put AI with the 2s.
I put him with 2.
Okay.
Because, I mean, even with you mentioned 2, right? So if we don't do point guards, right? If we put Steph with just the guards in general or 2 guards or just a guard conversation, I don't know if Steph hitting top 5.
No.
If we just put him in the pool of guards,
right.
in the pool of guards, like I think
1s and 2s combined.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
I think him being a part of the point guard list benefits him because let's say we just put all guards together, right? So you got Magic in that mix, Mike, Kobe, T-Mac, and you might want to throw out there, like we just mentioned, J Kids of the world, John Stockton. For me, he wouldn't be top 5. I respect his game so much. I'm also, you're a point guard, Steph. You're a point guard. I'm not gonna put you with the 2 guards. That wouldn't even be fair. AI, I put AI. If we talking 2 guards, I put AI.
All I'm hearing right now is that Steph Curry's not a top 10 player all time to you right now as it is. And some people have him top 10. All I'm hearing from both of y'all is that he's not top 10 all time.
Is he top 10 all time?
Well, maybe Zach put him 2 as a number 2 point guard, so he could be top 10 but not you.
I just look at it like the one thing that Steph has going for him, and I feel like this is the craziest thing when you think about it. Steph Curry, all time, when you look at any skill that someone can have, he is the greatest at his skill all time. So there are some people that like their best skill, like for Kyrie, it might be like his handle, how shifty he is, his ability to create a shot. When it comes to like someone being the best at their individual skill, Steph Curry is by far the best at his individual skill. And I mean, it's 3-point shooting, which is also probably the hardest skill to have in basketball. He's probably top 10.
I might have to put him top 10.
That's kind of.
I won't have him in the top 5 mix, but he's coming in at around like 8 or 9.
Top 5 is gaudy. So
top 5.
But if he wins this chip though, it doesn't slide him that much further up for you. He's not gonna jump in top 5.
Just off the strength of what Chris alluded to too. Like, but all the final championship is great. You don't got that hardware to come with that. So when we had this conversation, when you talking about you feel me? When you talking to well, if we have the table, we all at the table, all the champs is at the table. We having this discussion. I know Kobe might look at him like, bruh, come on. You don't get to eat food first.
Mm-hmm.
When the food is getting served and we doing it, Mike, come on up.
Mike loves something.
Kareem, come on up.
I love doing that.
Kobe, come on up. Shaq, come on up. Shoot, Bill Russell, come on up.
What about Giannis?
Giannis, come. I might have Giannis higher this time. Giannis,
Is that
all
time?
Is that crazy?
All time?
Will
Chamberlain. That's what I'm saying.
You didn't even get to Bron, by the way.
Yeah, we didn't get to Bron.
We didn't get to Bron. That's what I'm saying. Steph, he's gonna be on the back end of it because he wasn't able to get those.
So I'm saying you just named mad dudes. How is he top 10? If you really did sat down,
I mentioned Bill and I mentioned Bill's not in it. No, I'm not. He's not my top 10.
Bill not my top 10 either.
He's not my top 10. I just throw Bill's name out there because he got the 11 ring. He might.
Wilt is, Jordan is, Kareem is, Magic is, Bron,
Kobe.
I mean, that's 7 right there.
Larry Bird.
7, Bird.
8.
But after that, I feel like Steph's right
Steph
there.
can mix right in there, 9 and 10, like I said.
I always gonna have a hard time when I get to that point.
Steph can mix in there around 9 and 10.
Every single time.
Well, did we say Shaq too?
Hold on, start from one again. Because I think So, because I don't think he was at 7. I think he was at
1 for me?
Yeah.
Okay, Bron.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yo, we gotta get Nick right on the show because y'all should be.
I mean, Nick, I don't see eye to eye all the time.
I'm talking about the Bron stuff.
Okay, yeah, we got a long conversation. Bron, Jordan, Kareem, right? Magic. Who else?
You're just saying these names, right?
Yeah, Wilt.
Okay. I was about to say.
Bird.
Cole about to come out his grave.
Kobe. Yeah, no, there's no order. I'm not.
That's why I just making
Yeah.
sure.
Kobe.
Because we might have Vanessa calling in on the show.
Mm-hmm.
The freak, where my husband at?
Yo, it's hard when we get here, bro. It's hard because, like, how far back do I go? I don't know, Dr. J.
You're gonna say Shaq.
Shaq. Oh,
Yeah,
Shaq top 10.
yeah,
Shaq top 10. That's 10. 8.
Yeah, 8.
What about Tim Duncan? Is he in there? That's a tough one.
Timmy D.
We didn't talk about him. That's tough.
He's
Well,
often
Steph?
he's often forgotten this conversation.
He is.
Timmy
Timmy got
D
one
is-
of them things.
Timmy D is often forgotten this conversation just because of how quiet and humble he was.
Why?
And he was literally the epitome of what you are in your line of work. I'm just here to work.
Mm-hmm.
And this man just did the same stuff every single day. You know he gonna get that, he gonna catch the ball on that block.
Tim might have to be in there, though.
15, 20 foot bank shot. And ain't nothing you doing about it.
Tim above
Nothing,
Steph.
Tim was a mod. Tim was.
Yeah, I know.
I hated Tim Duncan because he was so annoyingly good and so boring, but so good at what he did. And Tim's top 10, bro. Like, if you really think 4 of them, he got 4 of them things. A couple MVPs too, I think. And it was in the
Tim?
finals.
Nobody want had this discussion. Dwayne mentioned this on one episode. It's money. I have a photo of the man right there. I might have to put Timmy above Kobe.
People do that. People have that
You
discussion.
might have to put Tim just
Yeah.
for the career overall.
People do that.
Of course, Kobe, skill wise and all that, Kobe. But overall career and his success, I'm probably putting Timmy above Kobe on my all-time list. Because if we're looking at our all-time list and we're picking from everything, the eye test, the stats, the accolades, there's some areas where Kobe got it, but when we start talking about that ring conversation, when we start talking about Dagnere was what? 10 to 15 years, the Spurs was winning 60 games
They
every
were
year.
a dynasty, bro. Like
60 games every year.
Then he has 5 or 4. How many does Tim have?
I think
5?
I want to say 4.
Oh, I thought it was 4 too. I thought it was 4 too. I'm curious. All right, but even all right.
5.
5 of them things.
5. Yo, he's
top
okay, he locked.
He's top 10.
Ah, damn.
He's locked.
Yeah, you got to think about it too. He came in with David Robinson and got a ring.
They shifted. What happened? He took over the team. It was a perfect transition. He drafted him with number 1 overall. David Robinson was on the way out. Then it was his team. His
Isn't
show.
that crazy?
Yeah, that's how that went. So okay, so Tim's in it. So I got 9 guys,
9.
and Steph factors into the. So see who's fighting with Steph for that 10 seed. It just didn't feel right that it didn't feel right to me. Something wasn't right in my spirit, bro. Niggas, they was talking about 10. Steph is number is 10. I'm like, is he though? Because there's a lot of great players. Is he actually 10? You know, I struggle with it. He probably is, by the way. I'm not gonna argue if someone says he is. If we really sit down and think about it, have a hard discussion about it on the show, I knew to have to bring my best here. So then the guy like Tim Duncan comes up.
So
he's 9.
We're at the 10th spot, right?
Yes.
One of the names that often come up in this conversation. AR or Steph?
I mean, I'm going with Steph. Just off the strength, the chips. He really changed the game. I'm going with Steph.
Allen Iverson was a dog. Allen Iverson was dragged Kevin Holly to a
That's what I'm
final.
about to say.
And
I
Eric
might have
Sloan
to-
Well, but here's another thing, though. And this is a crazy thing. What about Kevin Durant? Do we have Steph over Kevin Durant all the time?
No.
No. I'm saying, dude.
Okay, no. Okay,
You forgot about KD.
It's been
No.
No. It's been decided. Steph's not top 10, bro. Because I can't put Steph over KD all time, bro. I can't do that. I'm not.
KD got 2 of those finals MVPs.
It's not even that because he went to that team that was all BS to begin with. KD's the greatest scorer of all time. He's also an elite defender.
Sheesh, yo,
He's
just
an
think
elite
about
defender.
how much. Golly, I can understand why, to a certain degree, some of these players get really like anal and they really have that extra drive.
Yeah.
You see after they retire, you see a Last Dance. It's so much talent that has been in the league.
Yeah.
And for you to still be in the conversation, the Jordans of the world, the Kareems of the world, you was really different.
Yeah.
For decades, where people were like, nah, he's still top 5.
That's
So
crazy.
I could see where people would be
But I
upset.
see you.
I could be upset where you're going to do a Last Dance and then you got your teammates like, bro, you really making me look like I wasn't even top nothing, bro. Like, cause you talking about your legacy now. Like, we really just broke this down. We like, Steph really might not be top 2.
Steph's not top 10 all time. I
The
don't.
great-
It's gonna get worse when Jason Tatum gets older, bro. Because Jason Tatum's gonna take the next spot. Too.
I do think
That's
that's
what I'm saying.
coming.
Like, bro, think about this. Like, everybody we mentioned kind of on that list of the 10 are great in their own way in something, right? So you just mentioned KD got to be on that top 10 because he's the greatest scorer of that time, the greatest shooter, the greatest shooter. As you said, you're the greatest of a certain skill set and one of the hardest skill sets, and you're not top 10.
There's gonna be people who see these clips and they're gonna hear us say Will Chamberlain and be like, get Will out of it. Yo,
Do your
go
homework.
back and watch Will, please, bro. Because if Will plays today, he'd be.
That's what I'm saying.
Bro, Will was running a 4 flat, a 4 flat 40, and he was 8'7". He's spinning on dudes' heads. Okay, he's top 10 all time.
100%.
Okay, so it's locked. It's locked. Nah, that's our. I think top 10 set. All right, so we stamped it. I think we all agree. I don't think we can say Steph is top 10 all time. Not definitively anyway. I don't know. Zach feels some kind of way about it.
I do feel way.
It's definitely because he's light skinned. That's why.
Look.
But still.
If Steph comes out, plays the series against the Celtics, and gets a Finals MVP and a chip, you got to put him above KD for that 10th spot.
Why though?
Don't piss me off. No.
I can't do it.
I can't do it.
No?
I
He's
feel
not
like
better.
for Steph to be better than KD, I need him to come out and average 35 plus next season. If he could come out and average 35 plus, I don't even care about the playoffs next year. If he could just do that for regular season,
This is why
I would say like, all right, like
He's different.
he really showed me that like, and he's getting older too. So if he just came out for like, just joking around like, I'm gonna just drop 35 this season. If he did that, then I'd be like, all right, I respect it. Top 10.
the thing is, this is why what you alluded to. This is why if I had to choose, obviously Steph is the greatest shooter of all time. But what AI had to do in his career,
Come on,
if
bro.
AI had some type of help,
Damn.
some type of help, he dragged me to the finals.
People don't remember, bro. Eric Snow.
He dragged us.
We were his team.
We were his team.
We were the team going against at their peak, Shaq and Kobe.
Mm-hmm.
Bro,
It was, and I don't care.
was that a 6-game series or was that 5-game series?
5-game series.
Don't matter. You stole
They
it.
took that first game.
That's
That's what I'm
OD.
saying, yo.
That's OD.
As we mentioned, different rings are weighted differently.
Yes.
That one finals win,
An appearance.
the appearance, but the one in the first game, the game one,
Oh,
step
I
over
didn't mean
Ty,
energy.
the step over Tyrod move. That is definitely ranked in the top 5 ever NBA Finals game performances ever.
No, it's got to be 100%.
Ever against that team and what he had to deal with. Literally, he was passing the ball to us, and he had to go deal with Shaq, Kobe, Robert Orr. Like, that team had Hall of Famers on top of Hall of Famers on top of Hall of Famers, and this man took the squad from the YMCA and was like, "Let's go."
Bro.
That's crazy.
And it's
And
like,
all the injuries he played through. You mentioned hey Steph, go average 35 plus. Lead in the league, and in that time, and we go look at the stats. The scoring was different then. He led the league in scoring, but you know how difficult it had to be because it was him at like 32 points per game. Kobe came in at like 28. Shaq was at like 29. T-Mac was at 27. It was scorers on scorers, averaging like crazy numbers like that. Now it's not as much. You were scoring like that in a harder time where it wasn't the rules to help out.
It was physical.
It wasn't the rules to
He's
help
6
out the
foot.
players, and he's 6 foot.
Small frame. Taking
That's
the
crazy.
punch, taking the beating, going to the basket repeatedly. Didn't matter. Played through injuries. Continually attacking with pressure on defense. Over it. over and over.
It was
Yo,
scary.
I can't stamp that, bro. I can't put Steph for AI. I can't do it. I watched AI in real time. I remember that. I can't. You almost gonna be cursing the podcast. I can't do it.
And the fact that he changed the complete. This man changed the complete culture. Everybody talk about basketball. He changed the complete culture of football, of sports in general. Just like we talking about, Steph changed the game. He changed the game of basketball. Completely agree. AI changed the sports, period. When you have literally, I've heard interviews of hockey players talk about AI's impact on their lives. Hockey.
That's crazy.
Where it's like literally, it's probably 4 people in all of hockey that look like us. Literally, hockey.
That's insane.
AI is where pop culture met sports.
AI had
That's what
kids coming to the game with cornrows.
That's what he represents. He represents where pop culture, where culture met sports, where black culture met sports. That's where AI represents. So, and is that factoring into the conversation of him being a top 10 player of all time? A little bit, I guess. It matters. It's significant as all hell.
Because, I mean, when you talk about the all-time list, you're factoring off the court, too. Your impact off the court. I might have to put... Because when we mentioned Bron, part of the reason why a lot of people put Bron over Mike is the off-the-court factors into that. Yo,
that's not totally fair.
No, I'm saying... I've heard the discussions like, when we talk about the debate of Bron and Mike, when you see what Bron has done for the community, for people in need, I've heard it. I've heard the argument like, hey, sad to say, on that end, he's done more than Mike. And I've heard people make the argument, just for that part alone, I'm going to have to put him above Mike. Because he's more than an athlete. And I'm factoring that in of what I see as somebody being all-time great. Part of you being a basketball player is what you doing off the court.
I've never used that to make my argument.
I know you do that.
Against Jordan. I don't need that, by the way. I don't need that.
I know you.
I don't need that crutch. I'm ready for that. I got conversation. That's a whole different podcast. That's a whole different podcast.
That's a good point, though, because a lot of people do bring that up.
They do.
That's what I'm saying.
They
like,
do.
I know you. When it comes to that conversation, we've had it plenty of times with Greg.
I'll go to X
It's straight basketball with Greg.
I'll go to X with that one.
But I can't knock people when they mention it though.
No,
I can't knock it. And I know when I do my list, I'm encompassing everything. That's why I mentioned with AI. You change sport, bro. You forever are in my top 15, 20 list forever. Not even including the fact. The crazy thing, I remember this as a kid, as clear as day, and I never forgot it. He's in the playoffs. He's in the finals. Game 1. They showed a graphic of the injuries he went through that year. And the different parts on his body, they highlighted it. The whole body was highlighted.
He's still played every game probably.
The whole body was highlighted. Hearing stories that coaches had to hide his jersey so he couldn't play certain games. They had to hide this man's jersey and sneakers to not play games. Well, we got players now that literally, I'm a pinky.
Kawhi Leonard, bro. If Kawhi Leonard got a cold, he's not playing basketball. And I'll tell you as a fact, I ain't gonna speak on Kyrie.
It's crazy.
I ain't gonna speak on Kyrie.
I still think that's the thing that is kind of the negative about that's mentioned with Kawhi. But like when we do that list, like top 10 small forwards.
He not
top 10 small forwards over the last 25 years. He's up there among us though.
No. That's the whole different conversation.
Kawhi.
Yes.
Imagine if Kawhi played more games. That's a scary dude, bro. He really, the last couple of years in San Antonio, that championship they won, which he got the final MVP, he was the best player.
Yeah.
He was the best player. He was the best player for San Antonio, and then what he did, you can't know what he did in Toronto. That's different to come for 1 year. You know you're leaving. Everybody in the country, you're not even in America. Everybody in the country knows you're not coming back. Everybody knows you're not coming back. You're here for one job. You get the ring, you leave. Like, you feel me? Like, that, again, weighing the accomplishments. You come somewhere. You can't do that in real life. Yo, all right, that's how we're going to do it. I'm coming to work for Nike. I'm working for y'all for a year. That's it. I'm going to elevate y'all. I'm going to bring so much income into y'all, then I'm out. Peace.
That's great.
That championship is weighted differently too. Like this man came for 1 year, and everybody knew. Your teammates know this man is not coming back. We have him on a rental. We went to Hertz and got a Maybach. We got a premier car. We went to Hertz, rented for a year. We know we gotta get the car. We know we gotta get the car back. Didn't even play all the regular season games. Low management. Came in the playoffs. Got the ring.
That's kind of my point about Kawhi, though. Is the load management thing. That was really his bag before anybody else. Him and Greg Popovich, they was on that. And then it kind of it went around the league like an epidemic. It was COVID before COVID started. That's when it kind of started spreading. That's really what it was. I'm not questioning that guy's greatness at all. I've had my rants about Kawhi on the podcast before. When I first came on the podcast, I had my long rant about him and how I felt like the fact I don't really hold it against him a lot, but if he doesn't play for the Spurs when he first got there, they got TP, they got Manu, they got Tim Duncan. They were all aging, but they were still winning 60 games. When he got there, he went to a great ecosystem.
When you look at that team, that's the type of team when you see on 2K, nobody really is under 85 on that squad with them aging.
Great team.
With them aging.
Great team.
Boris Diaw, like they all was.
He was protected by that group.
That's 85.
He was protected by that group, and obviously when Toronto did what he did, Toronto was the best. Nick Nurse is the top coach in basketball. I'm not trying to just figuratively take a dump on what he's done in his career. He's an amazing basketball player. I'm just saying, I've seen guys do more with less, like an Allen Iverson, like a LeBron James, like a Kobe, right? Periodically throughout his career, he's had those moments. I'm just, so that's why I don't put him in that conversation. But also, the top 10 debate and all that stuff, if you are one of the greatest athletes to ever live, then you're automatically top 10 stamp. And Allen Iverson is one of the greatest athletes to ever live. Will Chamberlain is one of the greatest athletes to ever live. LeBron is one of the greatest athletes to ever live, as well as Michael Jordan. So when you do that and you surpass basketball in that conversation, you're top 10. You got it. That's kind of my criteria. You top 10. You're one of the greatest athletes to ever live. You're top 10. You're stamped.
So here's my thing with that, though. When is that going to change? Because 20 years from now, right, there's going to be another LeBron level player.
Yeah, there will be.
I mean, it probably, to me, I don't know if it'll be Luka. I mean, Luka's like that, but, you're talking more athlete.
On that. I'm going to say no.
I don't think he is either. I think
He's not.
I think they're trying to fit him into that because of his style of play, how ball dominant he is, how he makes people have to play his system. But
when it comes to that conversation, obviously, so it's like that's where the conversation becomes different again too. When you look at the LeBron Mike, right? The LeBron Mike conversation, where it's different. We kind of saw another Mike with Kobe. I really don't think we're ever going to see that type, and I mean this in the most respectful way, that type of freak ever again.
Like LeBron, right?
In regards to LeBron.
Yeah.
Like, we'll see players that on a skill level, yes. But you even mentioned it when you even brought up Luka. You wasn't even talking about the athletic aspect.
Yeah.
The freakiness of this man to be at year 19, we're talking about going into year 20, and we still having conversations of, is he the best player in the league? At year 20.
That's crazy.
If you're in anything, in any career, any space of life, you're doing 20 years of videography, and you're still in a conversation like, yo, UncutxRemy is.
Even that's different because there's no tread on his tires. Besides the fact you're just maybe you're bored at that point of the
But that's what I'm saying.
But there's no tread on the tires. Like your knees aren't shot.
Tread on the tires physically, but mentally to stay sharp on that.
Yeah.
Any field, if you're still talking about 20 years in, you still top of your craft. When people gotta bring you up. Where you're like, yo, who's the greatest? Yo, who's the best? Going into year 2022? Yo, who's the best players we talking about? All right, we mentioned KD. Okay, we mentioned Luka. And we talking about, yo, who's gonna be the face of the NBA? And you literally for the last 10 solid years, 15 solid years, you gotta still be like, LeBron comes in the room in that conversation like, oh, young fella.
LeBron, the best player of my life.
Y'all not the It's no phase. It's no new phases yet. I still run this league.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
Still,
He played this season just as like. You could argue that this season was one of his best, and it's like that every year. I feel like you look and it's like, okay, well, this could be one of his best seasons.
it's wild. Because I'm avid, love Kobe. I remember kind of like the year when kind of like the torch was passed. Like,
what year was that for you? I remember the year vividly myself too.
I can't remember the year number, but I could remember.
I know the year number.
What was the year number for you?
04.
04? I'm gonna look at that.
04. That was the year. No, excuse me. 07. 07. Back check myself. 07. That was the year LeBron dragged them Daniel Marshall to the finals. I was like, oh, okay, it's over. Best player I've ever seen. It was stand. Right there. My little brother. Best player I've ever seen. 07.
Ooh,
And Kobe was going crazy that year.
Ain't that the year too where he had? It was actually the anniversary of it yesterday. Was it May 31st? Was the anniversary of it? I think it was May 31st. Was the anniversary of it where he had the 48-point game against Detroit?
Yes.
30,
That was the year.
34 straight or something.
That's the first time he got past Detroit. Chauncey Billups, Ben Wallace. All those.
Yeah.
I remember that game vividly too.
Yeah, then I could say definitely that year.
That was the 07. That was
crazy.
04. Kobe was ridiculous. Actually, it was 07. I think the torch.
That was the year that he did the SBs and he joked about getting swept afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
And he was
07. 07 was the year of my childhood. I remember vividly.
07.
I was like, yo, this is the best basketball I've ever seen. And I'm telling my dad, like, that's the best basketball I've ever seen in my life. Ever. I don't know, man. This has been riveting basketball conversation. I'm glad we established that Steph is not top 10 all time. Guys said this.
Yeah, this was how it was the last time we had Zach.
No, we
it really could have went to a 4-hour episode.
We had a 4 hours with Zach the first time.
Yeah, we stopped recording, but we was going to literally like 2 o'clock in the morning. It was wild. But, that was summertime and people didn't have to really be concerned with going to work the next day. But we grown now. People got work the next day and whatnot. And
Chris over here done.
it's
His boss overtime hit him up like, yo, you not in bed yet?
Stop plugging my company.
You sure already got plugged.
You're doing too much, bro. You're doing too much.
I'm gonna let Zach close out the show with how you want to close it out. You got the last word before we close this one out.
No one ever gets that privilege. I haven't closed out the show yet. You. That's max.
Closing out the show.
Whatever you want to say, it could be a hot take, whatever you want to say.
Hot
you want to
take.
plug something, anything. You could be like, yo.
Nah, I got my hot takes, bro. I'm trying to think of the hottest one I got, though.
I'm trying to get messy.
All right. This is a very hot take. Because I think next season, obviously, the Nets are going to be back. But regardless who wins this year, I got the Celtics winning next year.
Whoa.
Right now. We're going to come back and look at this. There's another thing, too. I didn't mention. I put money down before the playoffs started that it was going to be Celtics Warriors. I put money on that. So I got my money. But next season, I got the Celtics winning the whole thing. Right now. We can come back and look at this.
No, we're going to have you come back on to talk about this because we need a deeper dive on why you see that, especially what you mentioned in the Nets. And we're going to have you come back on. Even if, because I know you're going to get busy. Even if it ends up having to be a Zoom, we're going to have you come back on. And that's a great way to close it out, bro. Because if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. Bench Mob, we out. Peace.
Peace.